So I'm starting a project. Gonna be installing this winch into the back of the truck. Also gonna be adding a second air compressor with a second tank. The tank goes underneath here, roughly. It's gonna get bolted to the bottom of the bed. The compressor will go on top of the hitch under the bed. You could see where the first tank is. So we're gonna kind of do the same thing, but do it underneath this portion of it. The winch is going to go over here. The hole is gonna be roughly right here for the rollers. It's actually gonna mount this way, but it'll be underneath the bed. Because I need the short piece over here because this is where the frame is. So I have to clear the frame, but I think it's gonna work. So the one thing I figured out over time was I take these out to get the rear bumper off the truck. If I take these lights out, I can get to the bolts much faster. I gotta disconnect this guy on the inside. So there's the hose. This just comes out. Got to fabricate a plate that's going to get welded to this, and then we'll screw the winch on. All right, so this is about where the winch is going to go, right on top of that hitch. Now the way it sits, I'm not going to be able to operate the release on it, I don't think. But that's all right. Maybe I'll be able to crawl under the truck and reach it, but it's really not my concern. I'm not into the hobby of winching regularly. This is for recovery purposes only. So with a remote control, I can always unwind it, or I may be able to reach it from underneath. Well, it looks like it's reachable from the back side, so that'll work. See how that goes, but it'll work. So now I got to make the plate. So here's our plate. I think this will work. So we're gonna mark it right here. We're gonna continue our little project here, but now I got a cameraman. I got this plate built for the winch. Okay. So this plate's gonna get welded onto the top of the hitch over here, as you see. But because of the spacing of the bolts, I'm gonna have to scrap these bolts that came with the winch and go with socket head Allens, because they're much smaller diameter, and that'll fit a little better. Right now, when I install it, it teeters a little bit, but that problem will go away once I change the bolts. Turns out there is enough room in there to reach from the forward and actually disengage it if I need to. I haven't found a place for the other compressor yet. Now here's the other unit. So I may add it somewhere over here. It will interfere with the spare tire adapter that's there. Or I might just interchange these, put this smaller one over here. See if that'll fit a little better. Something like that. But the one thing to check before we do so, one thing I gotta make sure is the bumper will clear all of this. Like that, I think we'll have enough room. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna remove this guy, put the bigger one over here, and try to relocate this one here where it'll give me room for the spare tire rod. Alright, we gotta cut one of the bolts because apparently some long time ago I welded it on so it wouldn't come loose. Take this guy out. So now we're going to mark these. Is going to get cut there. So yeah, that's how these two pumps are going to mount. Old one's moving over to the right. The newer one's going to go to the left. So this guy is going to go right here. Roughly. So that's what it's gonna look like. So now I gotta make the additional brackets over here. I'll probably just grind these off, see if I can salvage them. Make two more. Change the socket, change to the socket head screws on the winch, and then notch over here. I got a notch to bed right there for the two pump heads. I'm going to finish putting these brackets on. Gonna mark the winch. So I have replaced the bolts that came with the winch, and I replaced them with a socket head type of a bolt so it can better straddle the 2-inch hitch. So I had to make the diameter smaller on the socket head bolts because they still wouldn't clear the 2-inch hitch bar, but I think these will work. That'll work. All right, so the winch is now mounted behind the bumper, and we're gonna have to mount these rollers, but it's a bit off to the side, so I gotta put a back plate to scoot this to the right some, so I can get a nice even aim to the roller where the cable is. So it's gonna roughly be about here. So I gotta fabricate this plate, which I'm gonna make out of this scrap right here. Probably do something like this. All right, now we're gonna cut the 2 holes. So now we have the plate. It's gonna go roughly right here. So this part's gonna go here. These 3 holes are gonna hold it to the bumper, and this 4th hole is gonna hold the rollers to the plate. This plate and the rollers, there's really not much pressure. There's only lateral movement, so it's okay to have this overhung like that. So this will actually work out pretty good. I think it'll function well. I'm just gonna paint it. So now we gotta drill the holes and we gotta notch this out. All right, so my method of doing this is just gonna make a hole for the Sawzall. So I gotta unwind this because it's gotta be wound the other direction. So there's a hole that's notched out for one of the lights. There's going to be another one on the right side. These will be for the backup lights. So here's what the final product looks like of the bumper with the winch installed. You have the rollers right there where it comes out at. I also cut in 2 new backup lights that are LED. They come on with reverse, and they also will come on when I just flip a switch. I also added a gauge for the air pressure. I also added this control switch here. So I can control it from back here if I need to.